thanks for being here today, man.
Dougie, I'd come here for you anytime, bro.
No, it's good to have you back. I know you've been out of the country for a little bit, but happy to see you again.
Man, being in Cullowhee during the spring, get some country music going, the sunshine, there's nothing better. This is my favorite place to be, so, doesn't take much to get me back.
No doubt. Well, thank you for being here. The first thing I want to do is just kind of jump into your story. I want to hear more about kind of your upbringing in basketball and how you got to Cullowhee in the first place.
Definitely a super, everybody's got their journeys, a lot of different ways of getting, especially in athletics. But everybody's story is different, where you come from, where you played, like all those kind of things go into it. And mine was more of I wasn't the 5-star athlete by any means. I wasn't heavily recruited coming into college. I wasn't on the AAU circuit doing, I wasn't getting all the fancy gear. I wasn't doing all that stuff. Mine was more just head to the grindstone and old-fashioned, I guess. Like in 8th grade, I had a very pivotal moment where, I had an altercation. Not like anything physical, just like in the locker room with the coach, and we talked about, just like that altercation had changed my mindset to is this what you really want to do? Like whatever you do, 100%, no half-assing it. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to go in. I played football, I played lacrosse, and I played basketball in middle school, and I made the conscientious decision to I'm just gonna go play basketball in high school, because I don't want to play goalie in lacrosse and then just getting hit with those balls, man. That shit,
no doubt.
Didn't hurt. That hurt. And playing football, I was so small. Going into my freshman year, I was probably 5'9", 5'10". I couldn't even guess the weight, but just tiny. And it was hilarious when I look back on it now. There's an 8th grade picture of all of our team, and I'm the third shortest guy. And then I look back on it now, I'm the second tallest guy in that. Another one of our big mans is huge, but I'm the second tallest guy in that picture now. So it's it's the long game. It's your head. It's staying to the grindstone. Not ever jumping the gun. It wasn't my time. I wasn't sophomore year or freshman year. I was in the gym all the time with my buddy Nick Kaler and Zane Laws and them, just summer workouts. Going from summer workouts to the open gym at the high school, then weights, and it's just it was a non-stop thing. But what I think the biggest advantage was I was only 5'10", and I'm getting all these guard skills, and then I grow to 6'6", and now I have all these guard skills with the post presence. So around sophomore year of high school, I grew 6.5 inches, I think, that summer from sophomore to junior year, and then that's where my name started to be known around the area, and but I wasn't in the light that any of my competition was, if that makes sense. In the Columbus area, I was still pretty. People knew my name. I was coming up, but
you were low key.
Hey, I wasn't on the AAU circuit. I wasn't on the best AAU team in the country. I wasn't people. I didn't have 247 Sports coming to high school to rank me and all this stuff. I just playing basketball for the love of it was a bunch of fun. And I loved it, and had a junior year when I had that growth spurt, I had aspirations to play in college, but it wasn't a D1 only thing, D2 only thing. Wanted to play basketball at the next level, because it's something I wasn't looked at to do. And to me, I took it personally. I just wanted to prove to myself and prove to others that your limits aren't capped by another person's opinion.
For sure.
It's how, if you want it, you work hard enough. I'm a living example. You can grab it.
Yeah.
And so then my senior year, or junior going into senior year, Coach Hunter came down and watched me play. So a kind of twisty thing that happened was my coach played for Coach Hunter at Wittenberg in Ohio, D3 school. My coach was an All-American.
Wow.
Coach Hunter started out his program or started out his coaching career there and did amazing.
You're talking about your high school coach.
No, my high school coach played for Coach Hunter, who used to coach here for the first my freshman and sophomore year here at WCU. Sure. And so then I came down for a little team camp and was able to play. And, he just Coach Hunter liked my leadership skills more than anything when I got here and then when I left. And we kept talking. And, that was one school out of 353 that sent me, we'll give you a full ride. We'll give you a scholarship. And I was D1, D2, D3, nothing. I wanted college paid for. That was kind of my deal. And to the gratifying taste of walking upstairs and hugging my mom saying I had a full ride. I just got offered a full ride and seeing her cry was the best day of my life. Cause it's in a sense, you're good. You're not I'm going to go get an education down here. I'm going to play basketball. I'm going to do what I love. And then, see what happens goes on next. So it was just the gratification of being told something that you can't do and then having others jump on that bandwagon about stuff that you can't do, right. And then you just drive past them, and then you're there. And it's just the destination's always been here. It just you had these big, loud, noisy truck in front of you that you paid attention to for no reason. The destination was always there. And so just getting there, achieving that goal was just one of the biggest accomplishments, obviously. But, it's something that doesn't happen if you don't take action, if you don't, hit the grindstone and because you can't lay on the couch and say, hey, I wish I make it. Let's just, right. Come on, help me out here.
No doubt.
That doesn't happen.
No
That's
doubt.
Never happened. So,
yeah, I love what you say there. You bring in a really cool element of believing in you and believing in yourself. And that was actually a topic we talked about last week that we were really big on. And it's something that I'm really, really fascinated with, this concept of being proud of you. Mm-hmm. And only you, and not being proud of what people are saying about you. And what kind of advice would you give to someone that's trying to navigate that journey that you've just been through? Just how do you constantly be proud of just you and avoid that outside noise?
That's a tough one. It's not tough, but it's that's the thing. It's always easier said than done, especially right. In that sense. So that's what makes it tough because it's so easy to say it. It's really simple. The concept's simple. But taking action, moving on, and actually planning out what you do, that's hard. Being proud of yourself all comes from loving yourself, to be honest. When I wake up in the morning, I don't look in the mirror and judge myself. I got one body. I was given this body by, my creator. I'm here.
Yeah.
And what I do with my body is I can't go. I can go get plastic surgery, but I can't go to the store and be all right, I want bigger biceps. Can I exchange out these little guns for the big guns? You can't do that. But you can go to the weight room.
Right.
You can get on a meal plan. You can go for six months and have those big guns. Whatever. So being proud of yourself is loving yourself, saying that I am enough. I'm doing what I am. I'm enough to do whatever I want to do. I have that full belief that if I want to become an astronaut, I can find out somehow that I'll work for it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But my God-given body will be how I get there because that's fine. That's okay with me, anything that I do. So being proud of yourself really just comes down to, tap. At the end of the day, who's going to pat yourself on your back? Because at the end of the day, there's people that have their own motives. There's people that have their own lives. There's people that got to take care of stuff that they already have on their plate. You can't always rely on somebody else to pat on your back, somebody to always be there, which would be nice. And there is people that are always there. They always seem to be there because they always are there. But it's a point where you can't even listen to your parents or the people closest to you. If you want something, being proud of yourself is how you're going to get there. And once you show somebody that hey, how do people get followers? How do people get actual followers, not Instagram followers? I'm saying people that will follow them. It comes from being so drawn and driven to one specific thing that they might have in common. You know what I'm saying? So we like basketball.
Right.
you see Kobe Bryant every day, every morning. He's talking about like working out at 3, then going home, taking a nap, getting up at 6, and then working out. So you're working out 6 times a day or whatever in that one little interview. And I'm like, this dude's insane. But I love that. So I'm going to follow him because like he is so driven personally without anybody else's help that I'm willing to like follow that, support that. So that's what I'm saying. Like when you find something, if you were to just say, I want to be an NBA player and never work out, your friend next to you is just going to be like, okay, that's hilarious.
Right.
But then if you say, I want to be an NBA player, and you're working out at 3 a.m. like Kobe said, then waking up or going home, eating, going to bed, waking back up at 7, getting up, doing the whole routine 5 times a day, then your friend's going to sit there and be like, he's serious. Like, I'm going to wake up with you at 3 a.m. and then do it at 7 a.m. And then, you know what I mean?
For
So,
sure.
like, all of that kind of wraps into itself. So if you show yourself that you're motivated, you can always look in the mirror and say, I'm enough. Be proud of yourself and just move on. Like, everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a journey. I love that. I forget who put that. Is like, we all have a journey. Work harder. Or like, we all have that's what it is. We all have a story. Work harder. Like,
Yeah.
it just like you can always bring your own anecdotes into the whole process, but like, I don't know what you went through. Guarantee you went through a bunch of stuff to get here. Right. I don't know what everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like, right. I don't know what the next guy's gone through, but I'm definitely not going to try and sit here and judge them to figure out every nook and cranny that they took. I'll just put myself in their shoes, and they can put themselves in my shoes. And you know what? It was not an easy journey. It's not an easy journey to be here, to be at a Division I school. Do you know what I mean? So
sure.
It's a lot of different integral parts run into that. But yeah, wake up, pat yourself on the back, move on, put number 1 on your jersey, and, attack the day. That's all.
I love that. And you bring up Kobe, and Kobe's someone I love. Like, Kobe's a beast. And take basketball out of the picture. Like, just the way he – was he perfect?
Dedication.
No, nobody's perfect. But the way he attacked the day, that Mamba mentality is something cool. And Gary Vee and Kobe, when you were saying that, kind of – they have a similar message when they're talking about just being very level-headed, very consistent. Mm-hmm. And they talk about, in both respects, they talk about how you can't get too low. You can't get too high. You can't listen to the haters, just like you can't listen to all the people cheering you on, telling you love you. You got to believe in you first, and you got to keep just running your race. And I think it's so hard because we live in a world right now where everyone wants to tell you what they think of you. And that, honestly, I don't care about that. I really don't. That's fine. If they want to, that's fine. But it's not going to derail my train. Like, I'm going to keep going.
Exactly. I think it's just wild to think about how, like, when Kobe and them were coming up at first, social media wasn't even like this. Twitter is the most toxic app I've ever seen in my life.
Sure.
It's hilarious. You go on there, you're going to get your 30 minutes of entertainment. But, like,
no doubt.
Like you said, everybody has a platform now. Either it's behind the little egg profile picture, or it's like some anime picture, or some, like, profile picture that doesn't have their face, or it's their face and they're talking, and everybody's showing their opinions now, and everybody feels like they have a place to talk from a couch on somebody else's successes. So it's just that's what's hilarious to me is where when you bog it down, you have somebody who's like, I remember with E.J. Lytle from Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
They were just playing in the tournament. Obviously, they did not go as far as they hoped. But he was receiving death threats after the game. I was in Uruguay, so I couldn't watch it. And I'm pretty sure he just had a bad game. Everybody does.
Yeah.
And he's receiving death threats and all this stuff. And I just, like, couldn't help but, like, think that, like, there's probably some guy that hates himself so much. Like, when he looks in the mirror, he hates what he sees. And his way of feeling any gratification is going on this app and messaging a college basketball player playing at the national stage, something he's probably never done, to get gratification. You know what I mean? So now it just sucks because you have some people that take advantage of the system or the apps that we have, the platform that we have, and they use it for social media is never good. It's never bad. But, like, like you said, it's got its highs and it's got its lows, and it's sad, but then there you go. It all wraps in together. Everybody wants to voice their opinion, so you gotta ignore it because dumb people are gonna get on and say dumb stuff. That's all it is, and smart people are going to say smart stuff, so.
Right. I love that. Because that's actually, it's funny you bring that up, and that particular application is something I was thinking about the other day when I was working out. And it's like, people, if you do something well, people are going to be upset. Someone's going to be upset about it. And so like a good indicator of if you're on to some good stuff is, are people hating it? Like, are people upset about it?
Exactly.
If you find that means you got to turn it up another notch, man. Keep going. Like, that's the thing. And I was thinking, like, even with the platform, like, we've been, abundantly blessed and grateful for all the support. But do I think in my mind that 100% of the people love our platform and love AIM? No.
No way.
But you know what? Those are the people I want to talk to, because those are the people that need that motivation, because there's something going on. I don't know what it is. Like you said, like, we don't know people's stories. Something in their life is triggering that type of response. And those are the people I want to connect with.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And those are the people that they could even have ideas that they hate about AIM that you could implement. Like, so there's all, that's what I'm saying. It's always some good and the bad. There's people that hate, like, you just hate for no reason. But then there's people who actually have a systematic, like, reason for hating, not necessarily AIM, but like any company who's saying AIM doesn't post chest workouts enough, and I love chest workouts, so that's why I hate AIM. But like, so I went to the next group. But then if you're like, we will come bring over here, like, we'll accommodate you, we'll like support our followers just as you guys support us, we'll put more chest workouts, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just, there's good and the bad, you got to take it. But like, absolutely, if you don't have haters, you're not popping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's honestly, if you look at it the right way, because some people, it'll really mess some people up, like, mentally. But if you look at it the right way, like, that should excite you. That should like
absolutely
get you freaking going. Like, when people like,
I think, but I like that. I love it so much is because, like, you wake up and I'm having a very beautiful day. I'm, getting my shower or whatever, my brekkie, and then I'm not thinking about anything else other than what I'm doing today and how I'm going to attack the day. That's all I care about. But then you have people who go and they get their brekkie. They're sitting down thinking about AIM. Oh, I hate AIM. Oh, Onno, I hate him. Oh, what does he do that I hate? They're thinking about me. They're thinking about you. They're thinking about we're living in their head for no reason. Like, I will never let another person's I will not have my mindset be like I'm thinking of this person every day in a negative way. Like, I think about my family, I think about my girlfriend, I think about, my brothers, my friends, my teammates. Like, yeah, obviously see how they're doing.
Right.
I'm thinking about them, seeing how they're doing, how their well-being is. There's people who sit down and just think about the embodiment of yourself, of another person, and be like, I hate that he's there and I'm not.
Yes.
So then you just sit there and you idolize another human being because you're not them, but you haven't put in the work that's them. You know what I mean? So I'll never be upset with myself for what I have or like embodying another person, because I also have my feet grounded. I know I'm not Kobe Bryant. I never put in as much work as him so far. There's still time, 100%. Like, I can, but like, I won't sit here and self-pity and be like, I wish I was him, like, blah, blah. No. You know what I mean? There's haters that sit at their kitchen table and think of other people and wish they were them. So, I think that's hilarious because,
And what I love is, like, time is a resource that everybody has, but it's limited. And, like, that's one of the problems you bring up, like, with social media is people are able to post these quote-unquote finished products, their success, where they are. And everyone wants to have that overnight, but they don't see the hours they put in. They don't see them staying up till 3 a.m. packing orders, or their team grinding on edits for content, or, you in the gym late at night, or you lifting, or you sacrificing. They don't see that, and they see it on social media, and they just instantly think that they can have it overnight.
Exactly. Those are the people that are. I think instant gratification. I even feel myself with instant gratification, like, but those people are in a lane that they've never been in. Like, had they put their, like, I think I saw like a quote or something, a video about, the people above you, they're never really hating on you. You're either not in their eyesight because you're below them.
Facts.
And it's not from like a cocky standpoint. It's just like, you're not like that.
Yeah.
or they're reaching down with the hand and they're helping you up. But I tell you what, you'll never get a hater from somebody that's above you because they've been through what you've been through. All they have now is either knowledge or ignorance. Like they're just gonna ignore you, you know. And one day you will blow up and you go past them, and then like you'll be waving, and you know what I mean. So it's like there's always those chances. But like the people who are always hating, the people who are always judging, are the people who weren't up at 3 a.m., who've never been up at 3 a.m. packing orders. The people who have been in the gym at 12 a.m. Those are the people that are just they're waiting for their golden ticket. Facts. And they're gonna sit around and wait for it and not go make a golden ticket. You know what I mean? Sure. So like that, I just think that's also a huge indicator of how you're doing. Because like when you look at haters, the people, they're not coming from the people who've been there. I even feel it. Like when I look down and so in Uruguay, there's a 37-year-old vet that I came in, or that I know. He played on another team over there. 37 years old.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of years. And he looks like he can play till he's 45. Dude is taking care of his body, like embodied the whole pro basketball thing. So great leader, great like mentor to see over there. And shoot, what did he say? Oh crap, I forget what he was talking about. Damn. Oh, passing down knowledge. It's him was sitting there at his point of his life. He's above me. He's played a lot of years of pro basketball, but now he feels his message is to pass on. I gained so much knowledge, and I was asking a ton of questions, but like he was always there to ask or to answer, and it wasn't just like a 2-word answer. It was phrases, paragraphs, books, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like he was invested in helping and passing down the knowledge. I mean, I was ready to learn. He knew I was ready to learn. So that's why he was like, took it serious, passing down the knowledge. That's what people above you either ignore you or they'll pass down the knowledge and help you out, you know what I'm saying? But the people below you will always be just looking at you, idolizing you because they've never been in that situation, saying that that's easy. I can get that. Okay, show me. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
You don't have the time record. You don't have all that stuff. Like that's why you never see like somebody that's working hard themselves hating on another person because they know exactly what that means.
Mm-hmm. Dude, honestly, that's what you did for me. You know, when you got here, when I got here, you know, you had your thing going, you're rolling, and like I didn't know what I was doing. I came in as a red shirt, and like I really appreciate you, bro, because you led me and you helped me and you poured into me.
Absolutely, but that's the whole point of. I feel like I would be not doing my job because the people that were before me, the leaders that I learned from, their messages don't just die with me. You know what I mean? For sure. And their mentors don't just die with them. So when they pass down the knowledge, that's generational knowledge when you're coming back down for leadership and but it's a common theme, and you know it. Just work your butt off as much as you can, as hard as you can. Whatever you got on your goal, whatever on your plate, finish it and go get seconds. You know, don't be satisfied, and you understand that and you embody it to a T. So like. You were no trouble, like being able to lead you and like pass down knowledge. You listen, your ears were open all the time. So that was a blessing because, you know, it's not always that way. Some people need to be shaped and molded and, you know, you take the good with the bad but you never like, just because it's a bad egg at the start doesn't mean it doesn't taste good after, you know what I mean? So like you can always change somebody's heart, always change somebody's when they're driven just as much as you. So, you were easy, bro. It was swift breezy.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I think that was a good topic, good segment. I want to move into something that I think will be really applicable for especially the people that are at Western. You're a recent Western graduate, which is super, super cool. Mm-hmm. You've had the opportunity, and we're going to get into this in a second, to continue your career playing professionally. But what would you say was the biggest, most impactful like benefit you've gotten from Western Carolina University? During your time here,
change, I think. Like, I'm not a person that if you make dinner plans at 8, and a tsunami comes at 7:50, I'm not opposed to just, if we got the time, shifting them back to 8:30. Not, my mind doesn't work where it's game over if things don't go as planned right away. There's always a second, there's always a plan B, there's always a plan C. So I'd say change, because I was able to get 2 years of Coach Hunter, and then I got 2 years of Coach Prosser. I obviously flourished in the Prosser offense, but I learned a lot of. So Coach Casey, my high school coach, who played for Coach Hunter, obviously had a lot of the same morals and ethics as, especially in the basketball world, as Coach Hunter. So when I got into Western, I was just in a glorified high school setting, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I was already used to all the teachings he had, all the, whatever. So then after he left and Prosser stepped in, it was a totally new offense, a totally new defense, a totally this. But new coach, new things, new beginnings. It's all the whole problem. Or like, people sometimes get caught up on stuff being finite and like whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like I have to do it this way. Well, it's not always going to work out this way.
Right.
So you have to be adaptable. You have to be
That's
able to
big.
change. And so like, I flourished in this offense, in this program, but I also was able to learn amazing, principles from Hunter, and I mean Prosser as well. But I got kind of best of both worlds. I talk to my dad about this all the time. It's like I played that Princeton offense that set screens, whatever. You got the first option, second option, third option in that same play, but everybody has to be on the same page. And with the shot clock and not everybody on the same page, it's a hard offense to run in college, especially. And when I flipped over to more of a freedom basketball with Coach Prosser, 4 out, 1 in, like that's a totally different style of play. Run the floor, shoot the open three. If you're throwing in transition, throw it in. You know what I mean? So like that whole change, I welcomed it, because why else would I be stuck on something that I have no control over? At a certain point, I have no control. I go talk to Process. Hey, this is what I like, but Process is always going to do it. Coaches are going to do what they want to do,
Right.
what they think there's the best chance to win. So I bought in. That's kind of my thing. It's just, if I believe in it and I want to get to the next level, get to the next step, just buying in is the first step to me, is accepting fate, accepting like what's going on, and then like being like, okay, I can do this. Like, I'm going to stay here, obviously. Buy in. What do I need to do? How do I learn this? I've been watching film with Rack, trying to figure out where I need to be, stop messing stuff up. And then I was able to, I watch so much that I learned all 5 positions in most of the plays. So, then I can help Buddy out, who has no clue what he's doing over here. But I can be like, hey, go shoot the screen, come over top, like this, that, and the third. And that's kind of where adaptation comes into play, is I didn't get stuck on one thing. I didn't get stuck on, dinner at 8. I was able to eat at 8:30. I was able to eat at 9. You know what I mean? So just being adaptive to this whole process is probably that allowed me to flourish, because had I been stuck, I probably would have wasted half a year having a piss party in the corner, and nobody really cares because it's a way bigger than myself.
Right.
So, I decided to get busy. New coach, new beginnings, new opportunities. Let's see what we can make happen. And then junior year, had a good junior year, and the thought of playing pro was on the horizon, and then just stayed to the course. And I'm not going to, like you said, you're going to have your highs, people are going to cheer you there, and you're going to have your lows, people will, hate you there. So I just stayed consistent, stayed to my own demeanor, stayed to my own thought process. And what's got me here, always fall back on your habits. That's why people, care about habits so much, because when crap hits the fan, you always go back to your habits, So
No doubt.
So just change, I would say, would be the biggest reason, or biggest kind of
thing you've learned.
Yeah.
I love
adaptable.
that. For sure. And I think that's something that it's cool that you had the opportunity to get that experience in college, because that's literally a microcosm of life.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally life is full of changes, full of uncertainty, full of new transitions. Talk about how that skill you learned, that mindset you learned of being able to adapt and going through change impacted your position and your process going professionally in the midst of a pandemic. Because I want you to talk about that and get into this. Because like you did something that a lot of people couldn't do. Like you were able to get on a professional team in the midst of COVID when like seasons were being canceled and agents were like talk about that, because I think that's interesting.
Blessed. I was talking to a lot of dudes down there. We're blessed. Being adaptive. So I think I came back from Uruguay a week ago, and I literally was like, all right, you're 23. You got a bunch of years left. Like, take it slow. What do you want to do now? But then I like sat there and I'm like, none of this went to plan, obviously. Nobody's plan went to plan in 2020.
Right.
It just wasn't how it went down. It's not whatever. So, but sitting there, and I think the hardest thing was just waiting, because from March, I took a break in March during quarantine, took my break, and then when everything started to open up, you can go back outside, started working out again. And April to December, July. So 10 months or so before I flew out to Uruguay. And that whole time I feel like starting workouts in the summer, you're just going hard, and then the league that you're supposed to go to is canceled now. And COVID's rising here, so now that's canceled, so you can't go there no more.
It's crazy.
And then, it gets pushed back. Now they're going to be playing in a couple months after. So then you get to that point, COVID's even more than what it was before. So now you can't. It's not even going to happen. They're just going to cancel a year. Blah blah blah. So this happened in a bunch of leagues, a bunch of different places, and I think waiting and just kind of saying I can't control. I'm not bigger than COVID. I can't control it at all.
Right.
You got to sit down and patience. That's all it is. And I think the hardest thing was just consistently working out for literal reward. Because at those points, you're not getting the gratification of winning a basketball game, the gratification of being with your teammates, diving on the ground, playing as hard as you can within those lines for that 40 minutes. That's when you go play pickup basketball, you're not going to hurt yourself. You're going to play basketball, get a good sweat in, and go hard.
Yeah,
but
no charges.
It's exactly. So the whole non-gratification kind of thing was kind of tougher. So that was more of the change. Was I'm usually used to, okay, we're end of summer, now I'm going to go back to college, I'm going to go back for the first preseason, and then season's going to start in November, how it always does. And then you get to November and it's not going on. So then me and my dad, we were picking up, we were grabbing some extra clothes for Uruguay, and he was like, I think I'm more excited for this than you. And I said, Dad, I am beyond excited, but I'm not getting my hopes up until I step on that plane. Because every day I've been working for it, then it's pushed back. So I was supposed to go down to Uruguay in November, and then that got pushed back to January, and then that got pushed back to February. And I actually got on the plane in February. But it was just a kind of it was just hard mentally that every single day you have to keep that same intensity, because your name's going to be called, your phone's you're going to get the call, you're going to have to go, you're going to have to perform, and just not being, you have to be ready. You have to be ready. You got to stay ready. Exactly. Right. And there's no finite date where you're going to be going. Right. It's got to stay ready. If I get the call, I'm there. What do you need? you know? So I think that was being adapted to that whole situation is a sense of like, I'm constantly working out. No, like there's, you know how even with preseason lifts, off-season lifts, that kind of stuff, like that was hard too, because it was like, I don't know what to do right now. Do I just lift like, you know what I mean? So it's like all your plans kind of get thrown up in the air, and you got to be able to adapt, saying, hey, well, like this is good. Let's figure out what we can do with what we control.
For sure.
What we can't control.
That's so good, man. All right, man. Well, this has been a really, really good episode. Wrapping up, kind of the last thing I want to talk to you about is just like, what is the future for Onno? How are you keeping ambition in mind, and where are you going from here?
Every day's ambition in mind.
Yes, sir.
It's just having a big appetite, not being satisfied with where I'm at right now, because doing the scariest thing in my life would be doing the same thing I did last year. And that eats at me, because then I feel like I wasted a year and life's short. We got, like you said earlier in the potty, time is Bill Gates can't even buy more time.
For sure.
And so keeping ambition in mind, just saying, waking up and being like, what scares me? What hurts my sleep at night? Because I sleep perfectly fine at night when, you know, I'm thinking of the dreams and whatever, but like, or I'm saying I don't sleep well when I'm sitting there and I don't think I've done enough to chase my dream that day. So if I go have a full day, I come back and I'm exhausted, then I can sleep tight, because you know what? That's one day better. I got one day better. But there's days where, you know what? You did this and it didn't go well, and you feel like you took a step back. And then you're sitting up there, like it eats at you. It's just having an appetite. Like that kind of thing is like, I'm not going to bed satisfied. I need to get up and go eat more
100%.
And then come back and go to bed and then get, you know. So keeping ambition in mind, man, is just what I have in the future is I want to go over to Europe and play over there for a little bit, you know, test the waters, and, you know, just life's like 2020 showed a lot of people that they can do a lot of things that they didn't see early on. And having my own interests, doing what I want to do instead of what somebody else might want to do. It's like a character change, mindset change. Is like, I'm going to do what I want to do regardless, and I'm going to love what I do. And so finding that passion beyond basketball and being able to, you know, spread the seed now, because time compounds. So like what I do today ultimately affects tomorrow and the next day and the next week and the next month. So, you know, finding that thing that I eventually want to do after basketball, because the ball is going to stop dropping or bouncing one day, hopefully not anytime soon, but it's inevitable. So basketball's right here on the short main goal. It's on my plate right now, working out, all this stuff, staying ready for the next call. And then, you know, whatever I want to do next, whatever piques my interest, you know.
I love that.
I'm keeping ambition in mind every day, though, you know.
Well, listen, man, you've been a pleasure to have on. This has been super, super fun, man. It's been good just getting back up with you.
Absolutely.
Man. And just know that AIM fam always got your back no matter what, bro.
Got my gear, baby. Go get your gear.
Appreciate you, brother.